Hi everyone, welcome back to Scrapping Scotland. Just thought I'd do a quick video on synchronous motors. Synchronous AC motors. Called synchronous motors because the rotator rotates at the same pace as the field itself. It really means there's no variation in the speed of the motor. And something that can be a great source of copper. I don't pretend to be an electrician in any way, and I'm not the kind of person that understands too much about the mechanics of these things, but I do like to take them apart and I do like to get the copper out of them. I know with smaller DC motors, and you'll see on my video list that I have done a video on taking apart DC motors, and they can be a little bit more time consuming, a little bit more effort, whereas these synchronous motors can be really easy depending on the ones you get, because there is a few different types, a few different sizes, and some can be a lot easier to get apart than others. So I'm going to just show you a few examples and obviously show you the copper inside them as well. Now what I would say is that the best way to get these apart is just by hitting the side of it with a hammer, and you will pop off the bottom piece. Okay, the bottom piece is usually kept on just by indented metal from the side, and once you release those indents, which you can do with like a pair of side cutters, which takes a little bit more time, a little bit more effort, but if you give it a quick smack on the side with a hammer, it releases it nice and quickly. Okay, so this one I actually have taken apart with side cutters, in terms of just moving the fins out and releasing the bottom plate. And you can see inside that there is like a mechanism. That mechanism is very much similar to a watch. The thing with these motors as well is they are a constant speed. There is no variable speed. As I say, the rotor matches the speed of the frequency. So it is very much a one-speed motor. And you find these a lot, these motors, within microwaves. That's where I get most of mine. You do find them in various other things, but definitely microwaves are one of the main sources of these motors that I find. And these are the ones that are used to spin the plate within the microwave. Okay, so the bottom plate of this one's off. What we need to do now is just try and remove the next metal piece. Okay, which we've done now. That's all steel. Remove the stator, and that leaves us with a coil of copper inside this plastic frame within the inside of the motor. So the next thing is to release that out. What we can do here is just push it really through from the other side. You can see this side here. See on the other side. Normally there's a big sticker going over these things. Just remove the sticker. So if you can see this one, there's a sticker. Again, very familiar look if you scrap a lot of microwaves. So just got a screwdriver and poke out this piece. Okay. Once you do that, if you have a look at the side, it's just a spool of copper at that. Okay. What I tend to do is you can either just cut it in half like that and then pull the copper out, twist it, stick it in your pile, or if you want to keep the ring of copper itself, then break the top of it off, break parts of it off, and you can just pull the copper off of it. So I can show you that method. Again, pair of side cutters does the job really well. Okay, kind of like that. So that's just taking the top piece off of the spool. You can undo the plastic wrap. I have a couple of little wires that are still attached, which we'll remove as well. Still have a little bit of plastic wrap on this one. Sometimes there is no plastic wrap at all. What we can do is just try and pull the copper off of it, and then we can remove the wrap from that as well. Okay, so let's get that wrap off it now. Pull all the good, nice looking copper out of the wrap. There we go, still a little tiny bit of copper attached to it, but not a lot. And there's your nice copper. Okay, so as you can see, really easy to extract. Get that copper out. It is really fine copper, kind of like hair. That's kind of how fine it is. But really nice. Yeah, so there's one piece. Now, as I say, some of these motors are slightly different. Some are thicker, some are bigger, some are smaller. They all seem to be, for me, they all seem to be this kind of same shape. This one, for instance, so this was the outer shell of this one, as you can see. Did get a little bit of brass out of that as well, so there's a little bit of brass kind of sitting in here. So I've got a nice little bit of brass out of that. Okay, there was the inner piece that we took out, similar to the inner piece we extracted from the other motor. And then this was the inner piece, so it's kind of encased, but again very similar, so we just need to try and remove the casing. Because there's some wires here and they're quite jaggy, we will again just grab our snips out, our side cutters. Okay, that lets us now pull that spool out of the bottom side. Once again, you can cut it in half, pull off your copper, or break the top of the spool. I always prefer just to break the top of the spool, because I find if obviously you cut it, then it's a smaller kind of piece and you need to kind of twist it to keep it together. But if you just cut the top of it, you can just kind of pull it off or let it fall off like that. And it just makes it easier to keep together, really. Okay, remove from the spool. Again, nice little piece of copper. Slightly different colour from obviously the other one. But again, very fine hair-like copper. Now one I'm not actually going to take apart at the moment is one like this. So it's the same idea, still the same thing. It is still a synchronous motor. Still has nice copper in it. But these are a little bit more difficult to take apart. You kind of need to pull the fins off it. I don't know if you can see inside it underneath there. It's more kind of interwoven as a unit itself. It's slightly more difficult to get the copper out of it. Again, you can do it, you just need to pull it apart. Let's see how easy it is to do that. Didn't plan to do this, but let's see if it's easy or difficult. Okay, well, there you go. So holding it like that within one set of pliers and pulling the top off with my side cutters wasn't too bad. Okay, so we'll do the same on the other side. I guess it's like everything else, you just need to find the right method. Okay. Break some of the other plastic off that's on top of it. This one's actually a little bit thicker wire. It's not that hair-like stuff. Again, just making sure we remove some of that plastic. And then we can remove our copper from the motor. Okay, so that's one side off. Let's put that to the side. Break some of the surrounding plastic again, just to allow us to pull off our copper a little bit more easier, or easily. And there you go, copper free. Here's our bit of copper. As I say, a little bit thicker, that wire. Not as thin hair-like as the previous two. Little piece. And the final one I'm going to show you is just this thicker unit. So if we compare, you know, standard one that you pull off microwave towards this one, a little bit of a difference. A little bit of a difference in terms of shape, width, that kind of thing. You know, there's another synchronous one here that, although it's more or less the same as this one, they are again different thicknesses. And looking at the writing on the front of it, they're both 220 to 240 volts. They're both 50 to 60 hertz. But there is a slight difference in terms of the revolutions per minute. Okay, so that one's 3/4. That one's 5/6. Okay, so slightly different. But again, they will be very similar to the first one I took apart with, like I say, the fine hair. So we're going to take this one apart. I would think that we're not going to get any thicker in terms of the reel of copper itself, but what will be is it'll be more kind of inner working. So as you can see there, it's a little bit deeper inlaid inside the metal casing. Okay, it's not actually a thicker reel of copper. With these things as well, there is some kind of oils in here as well to lubricate the gears. So just be aware of that when you're taking them apart. I usually just turn them out upside down. They're mostly plastic usually. And then knock them into a bin. Okay, which I've done in that case. Clears out the gears, okay. Can be a little bit messy. Okay, so what we'll do again is we'll take out the protective metal plate. Try to pull it out by these little pieces here, but they're just coming straight out as well, so that's not working. There we go, it's getting a good grip of it. Again, pull out the stator in the middle, and then we've got again our little ring inside which contains our copper. Once again, I'll get my screwdriver, poke it from the back end. There's our shred metal, and there is our copper reel. Again, there is a little bit of tape going around it. Can actually seem to grab that from the edge, so I can unravel it. Well, unravel part of it. It did stop there and come off. See if we can get the next piece. Just a couple of wires connected still to the copper reel. Okay, I can't quite get my fingers into the reel itself to remove the next layer of tape, so again I'm just going to snap off the top layer of this reel and reveal our copper, as you can see. So hopefully now I can unravel this tape. Like so, okay, and that leaves us our little ring of copper. Once again, we'll just work that off the reel. This stuff's a little bit thicker, this one as well. Similar thickness to the last one I took off. Certainly not one that's, again, that kind of hair fine. Okay, and that's a reel free of copper. And another little nugget of copper to add to our pile. Okay, so again, not a great deal of copper within these motors, but as you can see, you know, from our 20-minute video, we've got a little pan full of copper there. Yeah. And as I say again, smashing on the edge of it with a hammer and taking them apart that way, you can do it actually really nice and quickly, so it doesn't take a lot of time. And you know what, guys, I never pass up copper, so you know, this again all adds up. It is really good, nice quality stuff. It is still number 2 copper, as most motor copper is, but yeah, don't pass it up. Make sure you are extracting the copper from these synchronous motors. So I've still got a little pile here to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still got 6 of them there to do. You know, that'll take me another maybe half hour or so to get all the copper out of that. And yeah, nice and easy to do that. I don't think it's hard work. I think it's really easy to get the copper out. It's lovely clean copper and worth extracting. Alright guys, let me know what you do with your synchronous motors. I know a lot of you guys do scrapping of microwaves, so let me know what you do with your synchronous motors. Do you just take, again, the transformers? Do you take the small transformers as well? Are you taking just the copper core from the magnetron? Or are you taking the copper from your synchronous motors? Let me know in the comments below. If you like that video, guys, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys on the next Scrap in Scotland. Thank you for watching, as always.